Hey, everybody, what's going on? This is your man, Big B, Brian Hanley. Welcome to Steelers Almighty Report Card Edition from the Steelers loss 34-17 to the Baltimore Ravens. Look, man, this game, Steelers had their chances. They really had their chances. Baltimore took advantage of everything that the Steelers gave them, where the Steelers, in turn, didn't take advantage of the opportunities that they were actually given, or at least Baltimore was trying to give them. Steelers could never button up the run all game long, didn't get enough consistent pressure. Um, just a lot of miscommunication on defense, missed tackles. We'll get into all of that and break it all down for you, like we always do with each individual grade from each position group. So before we do, remember always like, follow, subscribe, continue to get in that comment section, and always hit the notification bell so you know exactly when Steelers Almighty content comes out. So without further ado, let's break this down, man. So again, on the offensive side, we're going to start with quarterback. Look, it's not a good game for Russell Wilson. And the first thing that I'm going to say is that he didn't do everything bad. There was a lot of good stuff that Russ did in this football game. There just was. He did a lot of good things. But I mentioned it on the post-game show. Just because you do a lot of good things, when you turn the football over, especially the times when he did, that cost the Steelers points, that erases every good thing that you did. It immediately eliminates it. You throw a pick six when the Steelers are trying to come back, you just get an interception and you've got momentum on your side. You throw a pick six on a horrible pass. I mean, come on, what are we doing? I mean, pass was 3 yards behind Pruitt. You're driving. Steelers are driving. You make a great play. Offensive line gives you an alley. You run 19 yards, and instead of sliding, getting down, diving, you try to cut back at the last second, get hit, fumble at the 3. Just not smart football. And there was a lot of times, Russ, he held on to the ball too long. He was moving into sacks. It was almost like he thought pressure was coming when all he had to do was maybe take a step or two to the left or right. Instead, he scrambles out of there and is running into pressure and then has to throw the ball away. The offensive line, look, I'm not saying the offensive line was great, but it wasn't near as bad as if you were just watching the game. It wasn't near as bad. We'll break that down and I'll show you that. And you'll really see some of that on the All 22 that we give to you tomorrow. But yeah, Russ didn't play a good football game. Like I said, did some really good stuff. But you turn the football over twice, that's not a good day. And when you're the quarterback, look, you're the most important position on the football field. That's what everybody tells everybody. So, and it's the truth. Well, you get a lot of credit and you're also going to get a lot of blame. I give Russell Wilson a D for this week. Could have been an F. But the reason that it wasn't is because, like I mentioned, he did some good things in this football game. Moving on, running backs. I thought Jaylen Warren and Najee Harris played pretty good game. I really did. When they were given the opportunities, they ran well. Najee averaged 4.7 yards a carry. Jaylen Warren averaged 4 yards a carry. Now, we didn't run it for a ton of yards because we threw it 33 times versus running it 24, which a lot of you guys have been asking for. Be more aggressive. I had been asking for that. Throw the ball more. Let's try to get the ball down the field some. Don't be as predictable on first down, all that kind of stuff. Yeah, the Steelers were that. But when given the opportunity, they did a good job running the football. Like I mentioned, some people thought the offensive line was horrific. And I even said that in the post game. But then when you go to the All 22, yeah, the offensive line, as far as run blocking, they were pretty good. And there were times that there were holes there. Guys were hitting it. We just didn't do it enough. But circumstances in the game and maybe what the game plan was didn't call for us to run the football 35 times, which I totally understand. But as far as the running backs were concerned, I thought they were fine. I thought they were pretty good, better than fine. I gave them a B plus on the day. They did a good job, especially catching the ball. Jaylen Warren had more touches than Najee. He had 17 total touches when you combine catching and running. Najee only had 9, and it was 9 rushes. Now, he dropped the one ball, but that wasn't open anyway, that screen. I mean, they were all over that. So I thought the running backs did a good job. As far as wide receivers, again, another good day. When given the opportunity, they were good. Now, I've said it before. They got a bunch of 3s and 4s out there trying to be 1s and 2s. But when given opportunity, they were fine. Now, got to get Pat Fryermuth more involved. I know this is a tough matchup. Roquan Smith has them in coverage. Kyle Hamilton. It's a tough matchup because those guys are really good. But split them out. Find a way to get Pat Fryermuth more involved in this football game. You know, other teams can do it. Just because you're playing against good competition doesn't mean that you can't get your good player involved. It doesn't mean that. And they didn't utilize Pat Fryermuth enough. They just didn't do that. We did see Mike Williams. Again, it wasn't moon balls up the sideline. It was out routes, dig routes, things that maybe people didn't know that he could do. Even we saw a crossing route with Mike Williams. I'm okay with that. You combine what we saw from him, if we can get George Pickens involved in doing some of those things too, maybe this is going to start to come together. But like I said, the wide receivers were fine for me. I gave them a B plus on the day because when given the opportunity, they did it. Calvin Austin, I mean, what more can you say? When you give him big play opportunities, he's going to make them. Now, I know what we're saying, that one pass down the middle of the field, late in the game. Some people thought that was pass interference. I'm like, no, Kyle Hamilton has every right to the football as we do. And he was looking at the football the entire way. Heck, he had a better chance to catch the football. Either way, I loved what Calvin Austin did yesterday, man. I really did. I thought he came up big, was making plays. Steelers got to use more of that. They got to do more of that. We can't get in our way and just settle for being super conservative. We got to be. The Steelers' offense is better when it's aggressive. Period. End of story. We are just better when we are aggressive. Now the offensive line. Look, I mentioned it before. In the run game, Steelers did some good stuff in the run game. Was it perfect? No. I mentioned Mason McCormick looked like he's hit a wall. Yeah, he's hit the wall. He's hit the wall. It looked bad yesterday on offense or on pass blocking, run blocking. It didn't look good. Now, every single play wasn't bad, but overall, it was bad. The right side of the Steelers' offensive line is a problem. Broderick wasn't great. Now, he wasn't as bad as what you think, but he wasn't great. But that's where the problem lies right now with the Steelers' offensive line. It's the right side of the line. Wasn't very good yesterday. Either way, in the run game, the line wasn't bad. And some of the pressures, there was a total of 14 pressures that technically were counted yesterday for the Steelers. Well, if you actually go back and look, 5 of those, Russ has got to throw the football away or he's running into pressure. That's the thing, is that of 5 of those 14 counted pressures, Russ held the ball forever, and then he's scrambling out of there, like I mentioned. A couple of steps left or right, and things would be fine. He just doesn't do that. He just runs out of there and runs into pressure. Even on that great throw that he did to Skoranek, he scrambled out and he runs into pressure. So either way, I didn't think the offensive line was that bad yesterday. In the run game, they were actually pretty good. So I give them a C overall on the day. Couldn't be better, but the right side, it's leakage. It's problematic right now. Problematic. So overall for the offense, I mentioned this earlier. If the quarterback is the most important position, the quarterback did not play well. And I know the other position groups played better, graded out better. But overall, if the quarterback is the most important, he didn't play well. I'm giving the offense a C minus on the day because it didn't take advantage of the opportunities that was given. Turn the football over. You might say it's just one position, but that's the most important position. I'm sorry. So C minus is what the offense gets. Now, moving on to the defense. Look, the D line didn't get enough pressure on Lamar Jackson. Early on, it did, but after a while, they started to figure some stuff out. Just didn't get enough consistent pressure on Lamar to be able to harass him. There were times that they got there, but just not consistent enough. They obviously didn't do a great job in the run game. We had 1 tackle for loss as far as the defensive line was concerned. They made some tackles, but when a guy's running for 220 yards, the defensive line not really doing their job, man. So I gave the D line a C. Obviously, they were compromised. Look, TJ Watt was out there, but TJ didn't feel comfortable rushing off the edge, pushing off that ankle. You could see it. Basically, what he was trying to do was just bull rush guys. He was out there. He basically sacrificed for the Steelers putting himself out there because they still, even late in the game, they were committing resources over there to block him. And that's all you're asking him when, especially when he's compromised. Hey, just get out there. They don't know how compromised you are. Well, near the end, they started figuring that out a little bit, but TJ wasn't doing his thing as he normally does because he's hurt. But the D line wasn't great yesterday. Now to the linebackers. Look, missed tackles, miscommunication, not gap sound, all of the above. Wasn't great in coverage. This second straight week, linebackers have been bad. They've been bad. And again, a guy running for 200 or a team running for 220 yards, you're not doing your job as linebackers. Now, it's not all on you, but I'm not blaming it all on you. I just finished blaming the D line, but linebackers weren't. The read fits weren't there. The missed tackles, it was a mess. It was a mess. The linebackers get a D. It was just a mess. Um, Again, this was a game. Peyton Wilson didn't look good. E-Rob flashed a few times, but they got E-Rob out in space a few times in coverage, and that's just not his thing, man. It's just not his thing. So, and Patrick Queen wasn't near consistent enough on the touchdown to Likely. I know somebody tried to say that was Patrick Queen. I'm like, that wasn't him. That wasn't Patrick Queen's guy. That was Minka, and we'll get to that. But overall, the linebackers didn't have a good day. D for the linebackers again. Now, as far as the secondary is concerned, first thing, Mika made a splash play. We've been asking for it, looking for it all season long. He made one. Not only did he make one, he made one when the Steelers were on the ropes. And yes, I get it. Bateman stopped running on the route. That's not Minka's fault. That's not the Steelers' fault. We made the play that needed to be made. He made it. Gave us all the momentum because Baltimore was looking to try to end the game right there. And they were driving. We make a splash play, give us another opportunity to try to go down and tie the game. That was a huge play. But I also mentioned about the touchdown to Likely. That was all on Minka. He got fooled on the play. The heavy set to one side and they motion. He thought they were going to run it. Likely runs right past him, wide open on a wheel route for a touchdown. That was all Minka. But miscommunication all day in the secondary. Now, I will say this. They played most of the game minus 3 starters in the secondary. I mean, that's tough to do. You're down both corners because Joey Porter Jr. got hurt in the game. So you're down both corners and you're starting safety, strong safety, that is. That's tough. That's tough. They fought, but yeah, it's just tough. Look, Corey Trice, I'll admit I was wrong. I think he can get better, but I tried to put the cart before the horse with Corey Trice. He was scared to death out there playing. 10-yard cushions on 3rd and 7, 3rd and 8. They were targeting him, going after him. Again, miscommunication, the touchdown pass to Bateman in the end zone. That was Corey Trice. It's 3rd and 8. You're in cover 2. I know we don't like cover 2, but that was the perfect coverage for that situation. Keep everything in front of you. He bites on the short route by Likely. It was only a 3-yard route. He bites on that and leaves the back end wide open, doesn't give KZ enough time to get over there. Make them throw it to Likely, then come up and make the tackle. That's pretty much what that is. Make them throw it short and come up and get the tackle. He doesn't do that. And, it just wasn't a good day. Him and Beanie Bishop weren't great. They got exploited. Again, they're not starters in this league for a reason. And they took advantage. And it wasn't even that they took, it's not like Lamar threw for 290 yards. He didn't. But 3 touchdowns, a pick, 207. He was pretty efficient. Like I said, just a lot of missed assignments, missed tackles. I gave the secondary a C-. And again, maybe that's being a little harsh considering who was out, but I can only grade you on what I see, man. So overall for the defense, look, we could talk about the plan, and the plan was to stop the run. Well, they damn sure didn't do that. The Ravens, Derrick Henry just ran the football at will. The Ravens in general ran the football at will. Like I said, 220 yards, that's sickening. That's just sickening. Never thought I would say the Steelers gave up that much. I figured they would shut down the run in this game, and maybe Lamar would go berserk. But I told you, but in the pregame and leading up to this, I said, You can't have Derrick Henry run for 125 to 135 yards and then Lamar Jackson throw for 3 touchdowns, 215, 220 yards. Well, Derrick Henry ran for more than that. Okay, he ran for over 160 yards, and Lamar Jackson threw for 3 touchdowns. Now, he didn't quite get the 210, but he's at 207. You're not winning against the Ravens if you allow that. That's just not going to happen, and it didn't happen yesterday. So the defense, they get a D. Special teams, they were fine. They didn't do a ton, but I thought they were fine. Boz and Waitman again were excellent. The only thing that I would say, they didn't jump on the fumble that they created. First of all, they created the fumble, but they didn't jump on it. Actually, heck, I think it gave them an extra 15 yards because the ball got fumbled forward. Now, that's not their fault. I mean, it is what it is. But you got to get on it. You got to get on it. You create opportunities. You got to jump on it, and we didn't. I give the special teams a B for the day. Like I said, they weren't bad. They weren't bad. Coaching, the decision to go for it on 4th and 6 from Baltimore's 46-yard line there in the fourth quarter, I thought that was fine. I thought it was fine. I wouldn't have done it. I probably would have punted, but I understand the reasoning. We hadn't really been able to stop them running the football all game. So I understood the reasoning. And don't get me wrong, last week when he didn't go for it and he's thinking, man, we didn't even get the football back last week. I don't want that to happen again. Don't tell me that didn't creep into Tomlin's mind. Of course it did. So he went for it. I didn't like throwing the ball deep there. To our short guy on a jump ball, but whatever. But then the decision on 3rd and 11 to come back and run a wide receiver tunnel screen only to punt the next play was maddening. Just maddening. First of all, to run a wide receiver tunnel screen on 3rd, I just can't. I can't, people. I can't. But it is what it is. I gave the coaching a C- on the day. I didn't think it was great. I take that back. The offensive game plan was fine. The defensive game plan, maybe not so much, and damn sure the execution. Well, you can't blame it all on the players, although you can blame a lot of it on them. But I didn't see it. Like I said, the offensive game plan I thought was fine. Defense, not so much. So I gave him a C-, the coaching on the day. And then overall for the Steelers, look, too many missed opportunities, too many turnovers, too many missed tackles, lack of communication. It just was not a good effort. Too many mistakes on both sides of the football in a winnable football game. This was not the same type of game that we played against the Philadelphia Eagles. It wasn't the same issues. We created issues that we couldn't overcome in this football game. And then didn't take advantage when Baltimore early was trying to give us an opportunity. We couldn't take advantage by jumping on some of those fumbles. It is what it is. Overall, the Pittsburgh Steelers yesterday against the Ravens, it was a D. Absolutely. Just was not a good effort. Again, in my opinion, in a winnable football game. Even with the injuries, it was a winnable football game. So, look, I appreciate all you all being out here, man. The schedule is going to be a little off because, we've got Christmas coming up and with a Christmas Day game. So we got the report card today. We've got the all 22 tomorrow. Not going to have a scouting report this week. We're still going to have the big show on Tuesday, which is Christmas Eve. So make sure you guys tune into that. And memberships are going to be starting up very, very, very soon. So make sure you guys start to look for memberships. Make sure you join because there is a lot that's going to be going on that we're going to be doing for members only with Steelers Almighty, man. So I appreciate you guys. Thank you guys for tuning in as always. Aloha.